everyone. My name is Shandra, and I'm one of Core's facilitators. And I wanted to hop on to specifically speak about the benefits of silence and my own personal experience with being in silence and how much that helped me. And the reason why I'm speaking about this today is because we have our silent retreat coming up January 7th through 10th. And today is actually our last opportunity to save $100 off for this retreat. Tonight is the end of the early bird price deadline. So I wanted to come on and basically give a personal anecdote and share a little bit more with you and invite you to come join me. So, what is my personal kind of experience with silence and especially with a silent retreat? Well, at the end of 2016, I had been basically certified to lead Core Woman, but there was one last requirement that I had needed in order to lead. And so what Britta and Lee had required of me is that I would attend at least a 5-day silent retreat. And that's because they knew the benefits of silence, that would deepen me in my own personal growth journey, as well as in my ability to really be able to hold space for others in a workshop and show up in trust, show up in presence, and to be able to really go with all of the intense ebbs and flows that can come with a workshop. And since I was a good student and I basically needed to do it, I said, sure, I will go do a silent retreat. And I will just tell you, I was terrified. Like, silence, I was not cool with silence. It was not comfortable with silence. I basically did this because I had to, and I trusted Britta and Lee, of course. But yeah, I was the sort of person that anytime I had any sort of ounce of free time that where I wasn't spending it with someone else, I would get so anxious and this just sense of like, what should I be doing? This like frenetic energy and almost this loneliness would come up. So I had spent most of my life trying to avoid that. And also, most of my life was spent trying to focus on others around me, whether it was on people pleasing, on gaining people's validation and their approval so that I could feel secure in myself, or whether it was through work and constantly trying to produce and achieve. It was like, my life was so externally focused that the idea of turning that focus inward and in silence without even a process to really distract me was terrifying, but I said yes. And what I will say is at the end of that silent retreat, I came to love silence. Silence became a non negotiable in my life. Because what that retreat and what silence gave me of sitting in silence for, a prolonged period of time was first a deep sense of trust and a sense of peace and a sense of ease. That no matter what life was bringing, no matter what darkness, no matter what challenges, even no matter what darkness or shadow stirred in me, I had this sense of trust that it would all be okay and that over time it would all pass. And this was something, I might have known mentally, but like emotionally in my heart and especially somatically, physically, I didn't believe that. And I actually got to develop that trust at that physical level in my nervous system and in my heart. As well as silence became my chance to come home to myself, to actually integrate all these parts of myself. Because from sitting in silence, at some point I would face these parts of myself. They would come up. The boredom, the isolation, the loneliness, the song lyrics that would repeat over and over in my mind, like the anger. It was like all this, the joy, like all this stuff would come up in me, and I had to just sit and be with it. And in that process of sitting and being with it, I got to come home to myself. And I felt so whole and integrated and accepting of myself once I came out of that silent retreat, because I had actually faced all these parts of myself. So if you're a person that's longing for that sense of self-acceptance, silence is a huge gateway towards that, actually. And a silent retreat is. And it just gave me a sense of rest. Like I could again sink into a sense of ease and trust. And Yeah, so what did it even look like when I came out of that retreat? Well, I remember going in and leading a huge workshop for core. I believe it was Radiant Woman, almost, within a few weeks after the silent retreat. And that was the most relaxed retreat I have ever been at, and sense of deep trust that I had at a retreat, which is not normally my experience, and it wasn't because, there weren't difficult things that came up. I just was able to tune into something deeper. I was able to tune into a sense of trust throughout the whole weekend, and knowing that it would all work out. And I got to like almost just plug into that something bigger, what I might call grace, or what we at CORE call grace, and that trust that I was held, and that all the participants were held. And so basically, after that, silence became a non negotiable for me, where every single year I wanted to start off the year at least in 3 days of silence. And so I did that before I got married. I went and did 3 days of silent meditation before I got married, because I knew that that would stir a lot in me and be a big journey of joy, of stress, of whatever. And I wanted to be able to sit with myself first, so that I had that anchor point of like a calm in the midst of a storm. I did it before big years of leading a lot of workshops. And I am joining and doing the silent retreat this year before I, give birth to twins, because I know that 2021 will be an intense year for me. I know this. There are going to be a lot of life changes in me. And that's why I'm going to the silent retreat, because I know it will be this anchoring and trust. That will be the foundation of my year. That no matter what waves come at me this year, no matter how much overwhelm comes at me this year, it's like I have this somatic anchor of trust that I can always return back to. And knowing, somatically knowing, like knowing in my heart and my soul that everything is well. And that I can actually face reality as it is, not trying to control it, manipulate it, have it be any different, even distract myself from it. Like I can really be with the ups and downs of life. And so I will be coming this year, and I invite you, like, if you are needing a miracle in your life right now, come. That's what I have found, is silence is actually the space of miracles. Miracles happen in silence. And I think it's because of, I love this quote that says, silence is the first language of God. And I think that, so for whatever that is for you, grace, God, spirit, your own highest self, like silence is that language of that higher thing holding you. And that is why it's the space of miracles. So if any part of you can join, can come, if you can take off work, even if it feels like you're like, I'm really busy, I can't take off work, I don't really know. But there actually is the possibility, trust me and join. And also, if finances are an issue, because we understand that comes up a lot, especially after this year of COVID, we do have scholarships and significant scholarships available, because we want everyone who wants to be able to come to be able to attend. So I just wanted to share a little bit about my experience. I will be there. I would love to have you there. And just trust me. If you're afraid of silence, if you think you don't have time, trust me and come. Because ultimately, like, what you're going to get out of this retreat is deeper than resolutions. It's deeper than goals. It's deeper than needing some sort of external sense of environmental factors to make you happy. Instead, you get to come home to this internal sense of peace that then becomes unshakable for the rest of the year, no matter what comes. So I invite you to join me. So much love to you all. If you want to learn more, I will put the link below in the comments, as well as it will be in the little description underneath this video too. But much love to you all, and have a wonderful, wonderful day, and happy holidays. Bye.